Hey guys, I just went through 24 hours of the launch of Star Wars. Went and saw it last night about 10:30 p.m. and for the first time went again, saw it again at 10 a.m. this morning, and just got back 10. Well, I guess about we went to the 7:30 p.m. showing as a family tonight. Um, I got to see it in both normal formats as well as IMAX 3D. Hoping to do D-Box at some point, and the additional I can't remember that there's additional Dolby format that I'd love to see it in as well. Um, Got a lot on my mind though, so I'm gonna just warn you, if you have any concerns about seeing spoilers, stop the video right now. I'm gonna get into a little bit of deep thought on the movie, and we are gonna get into some spoilers. So turn it off right now. Hit that stop button if you don't like spoilers. Otherwise, keep it going because I do have a lot to say of a few thoughts that well, maybe not a lot, I don't know, but a few thoughts that I have to say about Star Wars, The Force Awakens, Episode 7, and some spoilers that go with it. So here we go. Here's some of my thoughts. So obviously, we knew that there were going to be some cool things coming out of this. We knew that Mark Hamill would be in this movie. We knew that Han Solo and Princess Leia, or General Leia, as it came to be, ended up would be in this, as well as Chewbacca and R2D2 and C3PO, as well as some new ones, including BB-8, including a girl named Rey, a former stormtrooper who felt bad and left the First Order, as his name's Finn. The bad guy is Kylo Ren. He reports to a supreme leader that they don't name in this one, but you assume is either Mun. But I'm going to get into that in just a second. I've got a few theories on that. Major, what do you call it? Um, oh, my mind's blank. But major points in the story where we end up well, since we're telling spoilers, you've probably seen it already, but Han Solo ends up getting killed by his son, who happens to be Kylo Ren. And also Kylo Ren is named Ben, obviously probably named after Ben Kenobi. That's all we know about Han and Leia's children at the moment. There's Rey, who tends to have an affinity towards Luke's lightsaber, the one from Empire Strikes Back that falls in the Cloud City, not the one from Return of the Jedi. Somehow this lady who in this movie says that she'll share more with Han Solo later about the origins of how she got the lightsaber. She got this lightsaber from Cloud City somehow, and I'm sure there's a whole story. Maybe we'll see a cartoon series about it, or a book, or something like that. Maybe there'll be a whole movie. All sorts of stories that open up now because of this movie that Disney can now tell. You can see why Disney bought Lucasfilm. So there's that. So you see, of course, then there's the end where Rey, who's that girl, goes to Luke Skywalker, well, to a man at the end, to find where they've been trying to find Luke Skywalker, and she ends up on this island where she ends up meeting Luke Skywalker, and it ends there. So there's some sort of connection there between Rey, who we find out really has tendencies, some sort of special connection with the Force, and has some sort of special powers that even surpass that of Kylo Ren's at the time, because somehow it doesn't seem like she has a lot of training, but she's somehow able to learn things that even people in Star Wars Rebels, and Clone Wars, the cartoon series, don't seem to grasp right off. So she's got some sort of special connection, very similar perhaps to Anakin, even more so than Luke, I would say, um, had, where she's able to just pick things up naturally through the Force. So something really special going on with this Rey. Um, I think that she is, personally, I think that she is Luke's daughter. I don't think that she's Han and Leia's daughter for varying reasons. They don't really seem to allude to that in any way in the movie. But uh, but but she does seem to have a connection with Luke in some way or another. Also, the she ends up on an island, and Kylo Ren is able to pull out that island from her head in some way. So somehow she had visions of that island, uh, possibly that Luke Skywalker was staying on. Um, Another theory I wanted to talk about, the Supreme Leader, this really big dude that sits kind of like Zeus or Lincoln or Washington on this big chair. I'm sure that's what the parallels are. And Kylo Ren, as well as Hux, the two leaders of First Order, report to him. And he is obviously the master over Kylo Ren, trying to train Kylo Ren in the ways of the dark side. Um, Now, we don't hear his name, we don't really hear a whole lot, but some have theorized he has a lot of characteristics of Mun. He has who's another Supreme Leader. But the theory on this is, and my mind just went blank again. Um, uh, Darth, let's see if I can get it here. I'm gonna pull it up on my computer here. Um, so in episode 3, uh, we hear Senator Palpatine or Darth Sidious talk about his master with Anakin, and talks about the legend of, oh, that's right, it talks about the legend of Darth Plagueis, um, who had overcome death and was able to overcome death, and that's the whole reason that Anakin, at the end, was went over to the dark side, is because he felt that the dark side was the only way to help Amidala or Padme uh, uh, overcome her sickness. So he had no choice but to turn to the dark side. He was tricked, obviously, and Padme obviously wasn't able to help, and ended up moving over to the dark side and somehow brainwashed into staying on the dark side afterwards. And but this but the whole story is that this Darth Plagueis, I think is how you pronounce it, Plagueis, is has the ability to overcome death. Trains his apprentice, which Palpatine reveals later that he was the apprentice in this case, and and trains his apprentice to know everything that he knows about overcoming death, which would explain some later of um, why Palpatine or the Emperor in the end ends up so old, but still seems to outsurvive all the other Jedi's and Siths and others. Somehow he had figured out something around age with this. But the apprentice, evidently, according to Palpatine, ended up killing the master, and Darth Plagueis died, according to Palpatine. Well, the theory is that, and there's a couple, there's a book out there. My friend Johnny Worthington pointed out there's a book out there called, I think it's called Darth Plagueis. Darth Plagueis. I need to get that pronounced right. But there's a book out there that um, was produced earlier that talks about um, uh, how there are certain facial features of Darth Plagueis that match the same types of facial features as the Supreme Leader in The Force Awakens. So we'll find out. This could be a really interesting term because evidently Plagueis was capable of um, creating life as well, which maybe, I mean, we don't know yet, but he could have been the creator of Anakin. Anakin obviously does not have a father that we know of. He was created from midichlorians that were potentially uh, taken and put into the mom who gave birth to Anakin. Um, uh, and perhaps there's a whole story around Darth Plagueis being the one that did that. So Darth Plagueis may actually be the creator of the whole Skywalker line, which would make it even more interesting a trilogy. I really hope they go this direction. Make it even more interesting trilogy where now it's the Skywalkers who end up turning back against the supreme leader who created them. And it ends up being the created against the creator, and would explain a lot of why there's such a strong force with this family line in some way. So, really cool things going on with that. I really hope they go this direction because that's neat stuff. They've got to explain it some way at some point, either cartoon, book, who knows. There's, like I said, there's a million stories they can now tell from this. A couple other questions I had. Another one was at the end, as the camera's panning around Luke Skywalker and Rey, and they're kind of exchanging glances. Luke kind of tears up a little bit. You can tell there's a lot going through his mind. He's probably a little confused and conflicted. Maybe they're speaking to each other through the Force. Who knows? But there's a rock down at the bottom next to Luke. It looks almost like a gravestone. I don't know what it is. So it could be anything, and maybe it's just a rock. But my theory, again, this is, I mean, they allude earlier that Luke went to find the first Jedi temple, and there are, as Rey's going up, she goes through some little stone rooms and a few things just very briefly, and then she ends up with Luke Skywalker. So they kind of allude that this might be the first Jedi temple. Well, if you go into Star Wars Rebels, in one of the first episodes, I need to figure out exactly which one. Kanan and what's his name? My mind, oh man, my mind keeps going blank. Not Rex. Is it Rex? No. The young Padawan of Kanan. The main character of the story. They go into this temple, and there's a stone, kind of an egg-shaped thing that requires both a master and a Padawan to push and to activate. And when they activate it, there's this whole thing where Yoda ends up speaking and training the Padawan. I'm wondering if that might be something with this. Maybe that stone is something relevant where Luke's been waiting for his Padawan to come find him so that he could put her through the training. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what that is, but I'd love to know what that stone was, if it had any meaning. Might have just been a prop, might have just been a stone. So really interesting. And the last thing is, oh no, there are a couple other things too. If you go through the trailer, and there are some links online. If you do Google around for missing trailer scenes, there's a lot of there's numerous scenes in the trailer that never made it into the movie. A couple of voiceovers that are in the trailer that aren't in the movie. There's one or two scenes that they seem to take out that they must not hit the chopping block, that didn't make the movie, which is kind of weird. I would have thought that they would have tried to make sure that the trailer scenes would end up in the movie since they were there. Maybe there were monetary reasons. Who knows? But that was kind of frustrating that they'd not include a few things. The most frustrating thing to me, I want to show this to you. So the most frustrating thing to me is there is a figurine that they've been selling up until now, that never made it in the movie. Wasn't in the trailer. Didn't make it in anything, and we don't know anything about him. So all we know is this one right here, Constable Zuvio. It's backwards. I don't know if it'll show right side up for you guys or not. I think that's just my phone. But Constable Zuvio, when you turn it over, um, and I'm going to read it here. It says, a vigilant law officer on a mostly lawless world, the tough and humorless Constable Zuvio keeps order in a frontier trading post. And there's a couple things on Wikipedia. He's from Jakku, so it would have been on the Jakku scene if he made um, if he made an appearance there. But for some reason, um, Constable Zubio never made it in any of the scenes, and I don't know what happened. Um, Maybe there was a whole scene. Maybe there'll be in deleted scenes on the DVD or something. Um, but there seems to be some sort of story about this Constable Zuvio that they felt important enough to make a figurine around, but never released it. Um, Maybe this will be part of cartoons or a book or something, but I mean, it's with all of the Force Awakens stuff, so unless there's a mistake with it, I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know if it makes me mad, kind of, I don't know. I just kind of frustrated that this didn't make it in there because these have been selling for quite some time. In fact, they've been some of the easiest to buy and find because no one really knows about much about him or her, whatever it is. So so there's that. So there's a couple things missing. Overall, it's a wonderful movie. One I think is the best series yet. I did get to see it in multiple formats. I like the 3D IMAX format the best. I cut the most details out of that one. Some people don't like 3D. I thought this was beautifully done even in 3D. It maybe I would have gotten just as much from just the plain IMAX format, but having that extra detail really helped me notice a few things that I didn't notice in the previous two times I watched it. So, um, uh, having good sound in the theater, I think really helps too. There are a few things that I had better sound in a couple theaters than the others. So, but overall, beautiful story. They tie it into the previous series just amazingly. The bringing back the old guard and kind of tying that and introducing the new guard was done just perfectly. I thought they stayed very loyal to the original series, which I would have been disappointed if they didn't. I kind of expected them to have um, the same pattern of having someone major die, where this was the first of the trilogy, having someone major die within 40, 50 minutes of the film. I don't know how much time it was in this, but I mean, in episode 4, obviously Obi-Wan Kenobi was killed by Darth Vader, and this one Han Solo was killed by Kylo Ren on a very similar platform. The parallels were very nicely done. And you kind of see that also in episode 1, where Qui-Gon Jinn is also killed, and so you see similar patterns, and I like that continuity in the series. Uh, I do think that episodes 1, 2, and 3 should now be considered more like the cartoons. They're still important to the storyline. Not quite the same as 4, 5, 6, and now 7, 8, and 9. And I think there'll be two different types of stories that they'll be able to tell now. 1, 2, 3 are practically cartoons, and I think they fit more in line with Rebels and Clone Wars series than with these. This was the real deal. This was Star Wars. Those were telling the story through cartoon in other ways. So, but still very good. I still like 1, 2, and 3 because of that. If you approach it like a cartoon, it's a lot easier to absorb. Wonderful story, beautiful effects. The cinematography was amazing. That final scene with Luke Skywalker was incredible. Brought tears to your eyes. It was um, just I think they should win some awards for this. Anyway, uh, not only will it be one of the best selling films of all time, I think they're going to win all sorts of awards. This is an amazing movie. It'll get higher Rotten Tomatoes than any other Star Wars film, higher ratings all across the board. This is the best Star Wars film, if not the best film of all time, perhaps. We'll see how it goes. But still, lots of really interesting things, lots of questions, so many stories still that they have to tell, either through future episodes of the trilogy or in books and movies and other things. I'm so excited. I mean, Star Wars is back, and I mean, I've been waiting. Uh, how old am I? At least 20, almost 30 years for this. So, just so incredible seeing this. So, anyway, this is Jesse. I'm the social geek. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think. Again, these are spoilers, so don't try to keep the spoilers within the comments down there. Let's comment, share. If you want to bring your friends to talk about spoilers, you can bring them over here too. I just want to create kind of a new just an environment where people can talk spoilers. My friend Chris Perillo did the same, and I've been using his, and I figured, well, let's make a video of my own so that we can do that over here too, and I'm not dirtying up his comments with this stuff. Anyway, this is Jesse Stay, the social geek.